Having great friends in life is so important because not only does great friends keep us on the right track, not only does great friends correct us in private when we're wrong, not only does great friends show up for us when we can't show up for ourselves, but having great friends literally could be the a life or death situation, quite literally. And let me explain a little bit further. A lot of people don't want friends; they want yes men. As soon as your friend doesn't agree with you, as soon as your friend tries to correct you, as soon as your friend tries to says anything but yes to you, I should say, is when problems start to erupt in most friendships because most people not only fear correction, but they don't like to be corrected, even if it's in private at the hand of somebody that they love or claim to love, right? And I've experienced that so many times in friendships where I would try to correct my friend who I felt was wrong, and we stopped being friends after that one instant, right? Instead of talking things through, instead of trying to understand where I was coming from, they automatically thought that I was against them for not agreeing with the way that they were acting, the way that they did a certain thing, or the way that they went about a certain situation, right? Even though it was going to be detrimental to them if they did it. So I want to get into this a little bit and take it a step further, right? God said only fools fear correction, right? So I do feel as if though if you're afraid of being corrected, then you don't want a friend. You want a yes man. My camera's going in and out of focus. Hold on, y'all. Come back. Alright, whatever. We're just gonna rock with it. You don't want a friend. You want a yes man. I was talking to one of my good Judies today, and we were talking about come on camera. There we go. I was talking to one of my good Judies today, and I was telling her about the rough day that I was having and the problems that were in my life. She listened to me talk. She didn't interrupt me not one time, which shows me that she was actively listening, and she let me say what I had to say in fullness and in truth and my truth. And then she said, she didn't necessarily outright say, Jade, I disagree with you. She gave me insight. She gave me wisdom. She corrected me in that moment because she realized the route that I was about to take could have possibly caused further damage to what I was already going through. And in that moment, in that instant, I didn't get angry. I didn't get upset with her. I heard her. I comprehended what she was saying. I took it in fully before I didn't interrupt her while she was speaking either. And in that instant, when I was so upset and butthurt, it turned into something even more beautiful. My friend corrected me, and I listened, and I felt better, right? And so many times we want people to validate us. Sometimes we want people to validate us so bad to the point where we don't care if it's going to cause us harm later on down the line if we do what we're feeling, you know. So that's another reason of why having great friends is so important. They can talk you down from that ledge because they realize that if you do go off that ledge, you may not be coming back up, right? Another reason of why having great friends is so important is because it could be life or death. Some of y'all friends know that certain things are going to get y'all in trouble, is going to harm y'all further, is going to literally cause destruction in your life. But instead of correcting y'all, they're like, oh, period. Oh, girl, yes. Knowing damn well they ain't going to be there for your court date. They going to cry at your funeral, but they going to continue on with their lives. And, you know, they're not your real friend. Real friends, if y'all don't have disagreements and come right back together, if one is not correcting the other, if one is not trying to talk you down from a ledge, that's not your friend. That's a yes man. Get those type of people away from you, because when you're spiraling out of control, when you're trying to get a grip on life, those people are not going to help you. They're going to further put you in the hole. And I also say this with genuineness. I also want to say this with genuineness. A yes man is quite literally the equivalent of having a jealous or an envious person around you or in your circle. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to double down on it, actually. Having a yes man is just as detrimental as having a jealous or envious person around you. Okay. Alright, you get where I'm going with that? Cool beans. And last but not least, having great friends around you is so important, because real friends are going to show up for you when you can't show up for yourself. When you're fighting those silent battles, when you haven't been picking up the phone, they're not going to say, well, why didn't she answer my phone? They're not going to make it about themselves. I used to have that problem a lot until I corrected it. But they're not going to make it about themselves. Real friends going to say, my friend isn't answering the phone. She hasn't been being herself lately. She's probably going through something. Let me show up at her door with some jujus that's like snacks and stuff. A good movie. Let's wash her hair. Let's get her together. Right? Only a terrible friend is going to mistake your silence for beef. I used to be one of those people that used to be like, well, she could have just called me. She could have just did that. She could have did that. Some people are fighting for their fucking lives, okay? Some people are literally fighting, okay? And some people are literally fighting for their lives, okay? They don't have time to be coddling you because you decided to eat 5 tubs of ice cream and gain 5 pounds and calling yourself fat. They don't have time for that. I'm sorry, Samantha. I'm sorry, Khadija. They don't have time for that. These are random names, by the way. But that's the third reason why you need great friends. Tanae, if you're watching this, I love you. Kayla, if you're watching this, I love you. I love y'all so much, and I love y'all with the passion. Thank y'all so much for being my friend, and thank you for correcting me, and thank you for being outstanding people, and thank you for trusting me to be your friend. Love y'all. See y'all later. No real entrance, no real exit. Grand entrance, grand exit. Toodles.